Yeah.
I bet you could measure people's biometrics in some way or another and make them watch news 24/7 and see a rapid decline in many health factors. I guarantee it.
That's so sad. But I guarantee you someone's studying it right now
They
in a
should be.
thesis or a dissertation somewhere.
They should be.
It's,
Put a fucking Surgeon General warning on the news.
Hail Toddo.
What's going on?
We got a podcast, The Buff and the Blazer. If I was a listener, where would I go to find more?
You can check us out on our website, thebuffandtheblazer.com. Drew over there writes a article that goes along with every single episode.
You can find all kinds of little extras on the articles, and you can listen to the podcast right there. Also, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, we're on Twitter at Buff and Blazer. Follow us there.
Get those clicks, people.
The Buff and the Blazer.
Welcome to The Buff and the Blazer, episode 28. As always, I'm Drew, and I'm joined here with my good buddy and yours, Mr. El Toddo.
What's going on?
How's it going, man?
Going good?
We got another one.
Good movie.
Another good one this time. This time we're talking about Irresistible, written and directed by Jon Stewart, the great Jon Stewart. And
Indeed.
this film just recently came out on demand, and I was hearing a few things about it, so we thought it'd be pretty cool to do. We both recently saw it. What did you think after your first watch?
I really liked it. I knew it was a Jon Stewart movie, and I knew the actors in it, so I was pretty stoked. But I didn't really see any sort of trailer
Yeah.
for it. And at first, when the movie started going, I was like, kind of had that feeling like in the Hunt, where I was like, oh, this is just gonna like play up these two different stereotypes, these conservative and liberal stereotypes in the United States.
Right.
And I was like, I wasn't too stoked about that.
Uh-huh.
So for like the first 15 minutes or so, I was like thinking it was gonna go that route, like really over the top. But I should have known better, because Jon Stewart is too smart and too awesome to just hit you with something cheesy and not, profound or provocative in any way. And this movie just brought it around so hard for me. I was beyond all just the laughing. The whole plot of the movie is what really, how it all came together, just like blew me kind of away. And I was really, really stoked. But we got to do this one like a hold back a bit, because it just came out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're going to avoid
not gonna
spoilers.
Spill the beans, because this is a movie you don't want to spoil.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're avoiding spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This film caught me off guard hardcore. And like you too, I think there's that little montage in the beginning where they play up the left and right kind of spectrum through all the little comments and news commentary and stuff. And at first I was just like, I don't know if I can watch this. Like, I'm just so exhausted with all this bullshit.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, man. With all they were playing all the political clips and shit from real history, recent history, but
yeah, it's like it's been a chore for me to just try and escape all of it. So I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. But I am so happy to say that this film, although it's political in its nature, is almost not political at all, which is kind of interesting. What I liked is it doesn't cater to any side of the spectrum. It casts shade on both sides, regardless of where you are, regardless of your viewpoints. And what I do like is that it's extremely entertaining, but it gives you an ending that you can't predict.
Yeah.
And it just sticks it to you and just points out how ridiculous this whole thing is. And
that's the beauty of Jon Stewart, man. Still
Yeah.
to this day, I'm bummed that he doesn't do Daily Show anymore. Trevor Noah is funny, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
With-
And I mean, like, he has 2 directorial credits, including this film, but his writing history is just, it's insane. Like, the guy is literally a genius. And I just don't know who else could have written a film like this other than him.
Yeah, the originality of the plot twist
Yes.
is what really caught me off guard, because Jon Stewart's hilarious and he's super duper smart, and he always seems to have a very grounded perspective on everything.
Right.
But that kind of takes away, and you forget how funny he is sometimes.
Yes.
Especially since he's retired, because a lot of times when you see him now, he's like speaking to Congress because of some shitty shit they're doing.
Yeah.
Or he's like in a serious conversation, but you get to see how he's the ultimate joke, like
Dude, he's so good.
The jokes in this movie are so good, and then the overall entire joke of the plot is so freaking good. It's a total like masterpiece, man.
And the other thing I was so happy to see is like, so everyone knows Jon Stewart's kind of like political sway and affiliation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this film and I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure this film is going to cater to me. So I'm watching it and it doesn't.
No.
It sticks it to every fucking person involved in American politics.
Yeah.
And I love that. It makes what they're trying to do with the message in this film so much more powerful.
Yeah, it's like the divisions. It does a really good job of pointing out how ridiculous the divisions are.
Yes.
In terms of how the narratives are played out on the news and stuff.
Right.
And then like the whole joke is like the townspeople don't even buy into this whole super division type of thing. It's really just the political consultants, and it's like their sport.
Right, exactly. That's a great word to describe it.
Pointing out how ridiculous they are, like the political consultants, and how ridiculous the people covering them are, and how everything is just kind of like this thought up, scripted deal. And oh, dude, it was just so good. How many times in the movie was there like a great mockery of a news channel, whether it be Fox News or MSNBC or CNN?
Oh, dude.
And then these super awkward, uncomfortable rolls to commercial.
Yeah.
Like those caught me so good because it's so true.
Oh, dude, and the political ads that he shot for this film, those are like, you could put those on TV right now and they'd fit right in. Like you could take out anyone's face in those political ads and stick, Donald Trump or just anyone in politics, period, anywhere, and it would fit right in. It's amazing.
He did a really good job of showing how ridiculous the pandering has become.
Yeah.
And how everybody tries to get pushed in this country. If you watch the news a lot, it's always just this game of pushing people to one side or another.
Yeah.
And it's just like completely drowned out all the sanity. And it's just like this giant game show. And he points it out so well.
Yeah, and so I was watching a couple interviews with him on this film, and he kept using the term satire, which the film is.
Yeah.
It's a satire.
Of course.
But at the same time, though, while they're playing up, maybe... Because when I think of the word satire, I think of like...
Over the top.
Over the top, going unrealistic to prove a point.
South Park style.
Yeah. But as you go through the film, it really isn't very much different from what's on TV right now. Like if I turn on MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News, like that's where I think his, like my idea of satire, this is just like real world. This is real world American politics right here on display.
Well, like you could catch this movie in a snippet and not realize it's a comedy at all. because it
No.
has like this very serious, very kind of like gut checky feeling
Yeah.
that it makes you feel like oh, this is kind of exaggerated, but in many ways not at all. Like
Not much.
it is this absurd.
Yeah.
You know, and I think kind of holding back on going over the top really drives the point home of how absurd our discourse has become
Well-
in the country already, and that's the fucking joke, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and like a good example is when the two main characters, Steve Carell's character and Rose Byrne's character, so Gary and Faith, when they have them on the 2-shot interviews on the news, and like I screenshotted it for the article, but like when you look at the headlines on these things, this is something you would not be surprised to find on the news. Like it says, "None too happy in Deer Lake in Wisconsin." None, N-U-N. Like, oh my god, it's perfect. And by the end of the film, it's so sad because you feel ridiculous.
Yeah,
Because that's what it points out. It's like, oh my god, what have I been doing, wasting my time shredding through these articles on, my news app or Twitter or whatever. And it's just like it shoves it right in your face to show you how silly this all is.
yeah.
And I love that.
Me too. And if that's kind of a goal or maybe an outcome of the movie is getting people to maybe check their addiction levels when it comes to this stuff. I mean, people
Yeah.
are addicted to these whatever social like just these battles, these political battles.
Well, dude, everyone's on a
most people-
fucking crusade.
Yeah,
Like that's what it is.
in every direction.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking at all about like the real shit that's going on right now, like the real reform. I'm just talking about the little
Yeah.
jibs and jabs that
Right.
that are fed by the business of news entertainment
Yeah.
in the world
and like,
today, you know?
Yeah. And
Or
just your
in the US
everyday.
specifically.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like I love how this film is just littered with your standard cookie cutter rhetoric that you hear every day.
Yes.
And that's the part that's ridiculous.
Yes, it kind of like you said before, it kind of, hits you in the gut a little bit
Yeah.
about where things are at.
Right, for sure. Like I wish everyone who's all wrapped up in politics right now could sit down and watch this film.
It'd be good for them.
And like everyone can. That's the thing. It doesn't cater to anybody.
$20
Right.
is what it'll cost you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if everyone can.
I have to say out of all the films that I've purchased to stream for our show, I've felt the best about spending $20 on this one.
You know what? That's funny you say that because like a dumbass again, I rented it. I just rented it and it's the same price to rent it as it is to buy it.
Oh, really? So mine didn't even give the option to buy it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I didn't even notice, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
Because in my head I was like, God damn it, I should have just bought that because my lady was working and she wants to watch it. I was telling her about it and she's like, "Oh, I want
Yeah.
to watch that." And I was like, "Oh, well." But I was even like, "Well, I'll gladly spend another $20 on it to buy it. But if it's not
Yeah, sure.
available to buy, then whatever, you know.
Right, for sure.
Sell it to old Netflix or something. And then we'll
Yeah.
watch it."
Yeah, no, and it definitely has rewatch value. Like you
Oh,
can go
for
back.
sure. For sure.
Especially after watching it the first time, you can go back and kind of scour
Yeah,
and
but
pick up little clues.
So there's like a I want to speak about this in terms of the plot and everything, but would not
Yeah.
try not to give anything away. There's
Sure.
a bunch of behavior going on in the movie that seems really out of place and like really cheesy,
Uh-huh.
and it all comes back around. And you understand why you were kind of a bit confused at certain things earlier in the movie.
Yeah, I'd agree
And
with
you
that.
totally get it. So watching it a second time would probably be like you would notice the main twist of the plot and understand a whole bunch more about the things that you thought were awkward in the beginning. And then they would
Yeah.
make a ton of sense.
Right.
So it's so good. It's such a good twist.
Well,
you
here's how this is how genius he is anyways though. So for me watching it, those behaviors didn't even seem out of place for me because of where they are. Deer Lake in Wisconsin. So this is like my own bias and stereotype coming in here, and I'm like, of course people in Deer Lake in Wisconsin are going to act this way.
See, they
Like,
they had me feeling weird because I was like, Jon Stewart's way too smart to just like play up these stereotypes like
yeah.
this. You know?
Yeah.
So like I knew something was off.
Yeah.
And this
Okay,
is
so-
all kind of weaving together with the story, the plot, and the resolution. It's hard to discuss it because it's freaking awesome the way everything, and you couldn't in good conscience give anything away on a movie like this.
Well, okay, so maybe in this episode we'll go a little lighter on story just so we can avoid spoilers, but we'll go heavy on the characters because I
Okay.
think that's where it's good. But before we move on, though, I just want to ask, as in a spoiler-free fashion as you can, what was your favorite part of the story or favorite scene or anything like that?
Favorite part of the story is the role that Diana plays, the Colonel's daughter, played by Mackenzie Davis.
Yes.
That was my favorite part of the entire story, plot, resolution, everything. The role that she plays,
Okay. No, that's great.
because and I think I can say why without giving too much away. Because it's like a generational thing.
Okay.
It's a millennial or Gen Z or whatever. I'm not sure. How old is she in the movie? 28? 29?
Yeah, I think that
So
puts
is
her in the millennial
yeah,
camp,
she's
I think.
millennial. So it's her like leveraging her knowledge and of the modern world and of the current social climate
Yeah.
in a really good way that kind of like it's just really it's genius, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, yeah, that's a
And
great
that's
one.
totally something in a realistic means of like, do you know how many people are going to attempt what happens in this movie because of this movie
Well, and here's the thing
in
too
the
at the
coming
end,
months?
right? They say that it's totally possible
Yes.
to do this and totally legal.
Yeah.
I hope someone tries it.
I hope someone succeeds. doing
Yeah, I
it.
know. Oh man. Maybe
It's-
that's his master plan. This is just the film
Well, that's
To
how you got to think of with Stewart.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
you can expose things with satire and spark action. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man. It's making me fall in love even more after talking about it. But yeah, this film is so good.
It's so good.
I think for me, my favorite aspect of the film overall are the dynamic between the two strategists, between the Democratic and Republican strategists, Gary and Faith, Steve Carell and Rose Byrne. Like, they made the comedy for me and made the film so enjoyable.
Yeah.
And like the stereotypes of those two characters are so spot on. Like, it's amazing. Like Rose Byrne plays the super hot, attractive, sexy, like Republican right winger, and then Steve Carell plays the mild mannered, like liberal leftist. And
Way
It's
too
kinda-
much money. Way too much
yeah,
isolation from the normal
From-
world.
right. And like their dynamic together, it's done so well. Like you see, they're both just so full of shit, and it's awesome. Like,
Yeah, and it's just a little sport.
yeah, for sure.
You know, the whole game of politics and all the people that work for them.
Right.
It's just like this little sport. I know some people that kind of work in politics a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like similar to this kind of work?
No, I have acquaintances that are like consultants and stuff
Okay, cool.
in Washington or were for a while,
Yeah.
but I don't know them well enough to like have any insights. But
Oh.
I do have a friend that he works for pretty big candidates, I guess you would say.
Uh-huh.
And by talking to him, you wouldn't think that his moral compass or whatever would be clear, or his moral conscience would be clear
Uh-huh.
doing these types of things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just kind of comes down to like, it's money, you know.
Yeah, it's just a job.
It's
to
just
him.
another gig, you know. It's like it's the next project number, you know. It's pretty interesting, and I think there's a ton of people that work all throughout the political world that it's just a job.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you got a job on this campaign, and then it's like, well, this guy's hiring and got fired from that one. You go to that one, and then the whole like the way John Stewart kind of like points out the disingenuousness of Steve Carell's character in trying to say everything is on principles and things like that.
Yeah.
I thought was really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, there's a part in the movie where like two opposite campaigners are like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? I haven't seen you since this." And it's just like, oh yeah, it's just a job for a lot of these people. They don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do?
Even the
market.
competition within the campaigns between all the staffers, you know.
Oh, yeah.
All that kind of stuff. It's just like it's become a weird sport /
It's like
game.
all
It's
these
not
little micro
anything
factions.
to do with what it's supposed to be.
And I think for me, the one line that hit home for me watching this film is when he's talking to when Gary is talking to Jack and Diane, and he says basically something to the effect of, "We can't let her win."
Yeah,
And they're like, "Let her win?"
exactly.
And that's like right there, that one line, it shows you it's not about the other candidate, it's about taking down your rival.
Yeah, it's this stupid team bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It would be really smart to abolish political parties in general.
Oh, you can cast my vote on that.
Just in general,
Please. Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
Just get rid of this whole made up red team, blue team bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get rid of it. It's stupid. Abolish political parties and the type of like pooling of resources that parties facilitate. It's
Right.
stupid.
No, I couldn't agree more. And this film will show you how ridiculous the whole system is too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I said, it kind of wakes you up at the end, and you're a little shocked and embarrassed.
Well, there's a lot of American embarrassment flowing around these days. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't go to Europe, damn it. I was going to go
well,
to Europe next winter. Can't do that.
And
Can't
I
go to
think this is-
Canada.
No.
Can't get
Oh,
into
God.
Mexico from Arizona as of today.
Oh man, yeah, it's a mess out there. But
Yes.
yeah, this film does a good job of shedding more light on the messy situation.
Oh, it's just one part of the fucking mess. You kidding me?
Yeah, for sure. This is one little part that plays
This
a
is-
huge role.
Yeah, this is just one of the glasses that spilled over.
Yeah.
There's like 15.
All right, so I mentioned Gary and Faith. Like, I love those two characters.
Faith is so good in this.
Oh,
Or
man.
Rose Byrne. I mean, her character
Like-
is fucking hilarious.
Dude, I can't remember which film I watched with her and Ethan Hawke, and it's this like little romantic comedy that takes place in like Ireland or something, or the UK. It's like she flips a switch and just becomes someone entirely different in this film. It's amazing. It's incredible. Anyways, like I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, just like watching Jon Stewart break down this character and be like, all right, so this is this is how we're gonna play this.
It probably was so many laughs on this
Yeah.
set. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing. But going back to Mackenzie Davis, though, I agree with you. I think what makes her so likable in this film is like she grounds the entire thing.
Yeah.
And like guess you could say her dad too at the same time, like his character too, Jack Hastings, the Colonel. They're like two of the more grounded characters in the film. So when you feel like things are kind of getting out in the left field, which they don't really get, but anytime you need like, a pulse check or whatever to bring you back down to reality, Mackenzie Davis's character serves that purpose. So you have this kind of like constant flow of reality, even though the film is like entirely realistic, in my opinion.
She's probably the most relatable character in the entire movie, right?
For sure, yeah.
Because it's when you think about the kind of exaggeration of some of these characters,
yes,
in the whatever archetypes they're supposed to be, it's almost impossible to relate to Steve Carell or Rose Byrne's character, right?
yeah, no,
Almost
for sure.
impossible. But Mackenzie Davis, you can see that she's like, I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing or something, or an occupational thing, but it just seems like I can't relate with anyone in the movie except her, maybe a little bit. And maybe a couple of the staffers,
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is really weird. I'm trying to think of a few other characters that I really liked in this film. Oh gosh, the polling advisor on Gary's team,
Eric
yes,
from
I
fucking
believe so.
70s show, Topher?
Yes,
Kurt.
Yes,
His name's Kurt. in this
Kurt,
movie.
that's right.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Yeah, I could maybe relate to him a little bit.
It was just cool. Like I liked how they peel the curtain back a little bit, and you get to see the little Mission Impossible team behind these campaigns. It's kind of interesting, and like you said, there's a bit of infighting in between even their own group.
Yeah, isn't it ridiculous that there's because it's like heavy data level analysis to try and guess how people are going to vote?
Yeah,
Like all the polling,
dude, it seems like it's just fucking witchcraft. More so than like hard science.
The girl's what's the girl's name? His nemesis, Kurt's nemesis.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Her system I liked. I can relate to her little system of evaluating.
Hers has a little more context behind it.
Like statistics and not evaluating like any emotional
Right.
type of variables.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is.
Tina. That's Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hers has a little more context to it without just strict numbers.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
to think that that's a world that people live in.
Yeah. I know.
It's probably kind of a fun job in some ways, like analyzing the data and the maps and things.
Yes.
But the dirty
no.
side of it, man, the dirty side of it is so dirty.
And you'd have to think too, like most of your money being spent goes towards a lot of that shit. Like the analytics.
It goes to paying all those people, dude. That's
Yeah,
where it
for
fucking
sure.
goes.
For sure. Oh my God, it's incredible.
What'd you think of Jack Hastings, Chris Cooper?
Oh man, yeah, I love that character. Again, he's probably like the second most grounded character
Yeah.
in the entire film, and like when he got up to speak when in the viral video, like, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
It's like I knew something was off because it was so perfect.
Right?
It was too perfect, and I'm like, this is, if I had to dream up someone that I totally identified with, it'd be someone like this. Everything he says, and like in one sense it was too good to be true, but in another it wasn't. And that's all I'll say about it. But yeah, I love his character, and he seems like the most, him and Diane are like the most human characters in this whole movie.
Yeah. My favorite part in his, I won't give anything away, but his last bit of the movie,
Yeah.
when they're showing the speech, that's my favorite. That was like my favorite
yeah.
part of the movie.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Well, that part, and I also like the speech he gives when they're at the fundraising event in New York.
Yeah.
Like he gives a little, and I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's playing into that, but at the same time, it seemed like he was genuine with his comments at that whole thing, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's really hard to talk about it though without giving anything away, but
That scene made me a little bit uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. The whole fundraising party.
Yeah, you mean just like in the sense that he's in there with all the snakes, or what?
No, just what those are. Like those fundraising parties.
Yeah,
That makes me uncomfortable.
yeah, for sure.
I don't like that. And it's stupid, It's so far away from what voting and making choices and shit is all supposed to be about, And that's what really Stewart just freaking spotlight.
Yeah,
He
Well,
knows
that's- I
every
think-
little beat to hit.
for sure.
That, like, these are things that should make you angry.
And like the writing in his little monologue during that scene it's the truth. It's just it hits you right in the gut. Like
Yeah.
everything he says couldn't be, more accurate. And yeah, this film does make you feel something. It's not.
If you're American,
It's-
it certainly does.
Yeah, it's meant to upset you. Like this is one of those films that's meant to
a good
to stir you
satire
up.
should, and
Yeah.
and that's what I truly believe that comedy is, and satire is the most efficient and the most effective way to go at idiocy in any form.
Yeah,
And Stewart's a grandmaster, dude.
no, for sure. Like I can't see someone sitting down watching this film and not getting something out of this.
Unless they just don't know anything, like have never turned on the news, and they're only into one thing. And
Yeah,
have
I
no
envy that
idea
person.
of the world of the world that they live in, what's going on around it. I envy
Yeah.
that person too. Shit.
Yeah, drop us an email and maybe we can start a a Google Hangouts self-help group. Oh man.
What other characters really stuck out for you?
I will say the Mayor Braun,
Okay.
Brent Saxton. And like I know he's playing the rival like political pundit, but it's like, oh man, this is so hard to do without spoiling anything, but he's
It is, dude. It's
I liked
really
him.
hard.
I liked him. I liked him a lot.
I
leave
loved
it there.
all of the townsfolk, man.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Will Sasso's character, Big Mike, all of them.
Yeah, it's oh, and then before I forget, because it just came to mind, but another thing that's great about this film is he shot it on location in small town Wisconsin.
Of course.
I don't know if Deer Laken is that an actual place.
I don't
I
know.
tried finding it and I couldn't find it, but he shot it on location though, in a small town. So that
Yeah.
was great, and it was good to hear, and you definitely get the vibe.
Yeah, Stewart's a good man. Like that's the shit he's gonna be doing it when he does create things. Like he probably injected a bunch of money into some little town
Yeah, for sure.
economically,
Yeah, that's
But let's talk about the shooting, man. How'd you feel about the cinematography of the movie?
Oh man. Okay, so you have like there's two sides to the coin in this film, I think. You have the narrative filmmaking, which is everything that's going on with the story. And then you have all of the like the commentary footage and all of the satirical like real world style news footage and stuff like that. And I mean, for me, all of the narrative filmmaking stuff was great. It all mashed well together. There was nothing that seemed off about shooting. I mean, this is the guy's second directorial film.
Did you see his other film? I didn't.
No, I haven't
It's
seen
like
that one.
a-
Rosewater?
It's something to do with like a journalist, right, in the Middle East.
Yes. Yeah.
Something along those lines.
No, I haven't seen it. It came out in 2014, I believe. And it looks like it was shot in Israel.
Huh.
But no, I haven't seen that one. But he's been kind of off for a bit in the directing world, and I couldn't tell.
Well,
The guy
that's-
knows what he's
that's,
doing.
The guy. There's a line between putting out content and putting out straight artwork.
Yes.
And
No, this is
And-
definitely a piece of art, I'd say, too.
I can guarantee that. I mean, you can just tell by watching it the level of thought that went into everything in the movie, including all the shots.
Right.
Like, there was such a good mixture of the shaky cam documentary in the building feel
Yep.
and, like, wide panorama drone, cool stuff, and farm shots. And
Here's the thing too, like I think the strength of the shooting and the cinematography is that you do, because you can shoot in small town America, but depending on how you shoot it, some shots will make it seem like you're more in small town America than others. And I felt like the way he shot the film definitely made you feel like you were in small town America.
yeah,
And he emphasized, you know, the small, tight-knit community feel, and he really captured that well. For me, like, the most impressive part of everything visually was how well he was able to craft, like, all of the mock political ads and, like, the news footage.
yeah, the news footage was so spot on. Good God. It was, like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then they bust out the Octabox at that one point.
Yes. Oh, man. So great. And then I'd love any time where Gary and Faith would be on a two-shot on the news, and then she'd say something totally outrageous, and then he'd go off his frame and then go into hers.
Yeah, that part when he's like losing his shit because she just blatantly lied on national TV, live national TV. And he's like losing his shit, and he's like, "Fuck, she said it. It's true now," because she said it on live TV, you know.
Yeah,
And that
he's
is
like, "That's a lie."
So ridiculously accurate.
And then
to
the headline
the-
changes
Yeah.
like immediately after.
Those are some of the best scenes in the movie, man. Because those are the parts that really kind of get you, and it tells you where you hear the fucking ridiculous sound bites that you hear in random conversation from people, like these random fake nothings, facts or whatever they are, that are supposed to be like a gotcha and they make no sense at all. And it's like, that's how that shit starts, is just someone on the news blurting shit out on live TV.
Yeah,
And then it's over 2 seconds later, you know?
Well, for sure.
That's
And I
why
think,
podcasts
like,
are sweet, because like it's hard to really go ballistic on someone for something specific they say when they do a podcast, because there's usually a lot more context front and back end.
Sure, yeah.
Unless it is just blatantly stupid, then go right ahead. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The ability to take things out of context or to verify things in the format that most people are delivered their information these days is
Right.
terrifying.
Yeah, and just like the ridiculous like aspects of all these news organizations trying to play off like they're neutrally trying to report news,
Yeah.
and it's like
that part when they go around the table and every single person is like, it's literally our job just to report the news. This is the news. And every single one of them says it.
yeah.
It's just like, God, it's just like a slap. The whole movie is a slap in the face to people that are really addicted to the whole TV news cycle thing, man. And I feel bad for anybody that is stuck in that world.
Yeah, me too.
That watches that shit
For sure.
for any length of time a day. It's got to be horrible for you.
Yeah.
I bet you could measure people's biometrics in some way or another and make them watch news 24/7 and see a rapid decline in many health factors. I guarantee it.
That's so sad. But I guarantee you someone's studying it right now.
They should
in a
be.
thesis or a dissertation somewhere.
They should be.
It's,
Put a fucking Surgeon General warning on the news.
Please. We would all be so much better for it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, just like cigarettes.
Yeah, man.
You got your
Once the-
MSNBC Camels and your Fox News Lucky Strikes.
There
It's
was
genius, all of it.
there was a few like pretty heavy emotional scenes in the movie, don't you think? That I like from a look and like a cinematography standpoint that I thought were really well done. Like I thought the private jet scenes.
Yeah, that's
were-
what I was thinking of
were
immediately
really,
when you said
really
that.
well done.
For sure.
They
Yeah,
seemed
yeah.
extremely intimate for
Yeah.
a movie, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
especially
the
a
best thing
comedy,
about
because
those,
there's you're laughing a good amount of those scenes, and they're fairly heavy, right?
yeah. So like in general, those are my favorite types of comedies. So like comedy's not my favorite genre
Smart
on the
comedy
planet.
is your favorite.
Well, not even that, but like when it's just slapstick and these crazy outlandish gag laughs, like those are fun. But I get way more out of films like this where it's comedy that's ultra grounded.
and has
Like
a really deep message.
yeah, or it's just like it's heavy at the same time with the comedic elements. I
Ah.
love films like that. And this one's definitely like that, but those shots in the airplane, what I love about them is it does a real good job of contrasting the world that Gary lives in and then the world that the Colonel comes from. And they're kind of both occupying this like fancy crazy jet with these like insane gourmet dinner dishes. And it's just kind of like this whole alien experience for the Colonel, and then you have Gary there who's completely at home. And I loved anytime he showed those like differences on camera.
Yeah,
Those are really great scenes.
and the green beans were hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. Now there was
And even some of the scenes where Mackenzie Davis' character is talking to Steve Carell towards the end of the movie were really well shot in terms of like a realness factor.
yeah.
You felt the emotion in those scenes, right? And
Mhm.
Steve, you got a hats off to Steve Carell. He's such a good actor.
Yeah, the cool thing though is that Jon Stewart said he wrote this role with Steve Carell in mind.
Mm.
So I mean, he fits it perfectly because it was written for him.
He's quite the talent, man. You look at
Yeah.
the coaching tree, as it were, of of Jon Stewart and The Daily Show. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Freaking Colbert, Steve Carell, John Oliver.
Yeah,
It's very impressive. Look at all
Yeah,
of them
man.
are doing good shit everywhere, you know?
yeah, it's crazy, and it just shows how much of a writing genius Jon Stewart is.
Yeah.
Ah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I haven't got around to watching Space Force, but I need to watch that on with Steve Carell.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish up old Ozark. I just saw it
Yeah.
got renewed for season 4, which tells me that season 3 nothing gets resolved, so that added a little more stress to watching the show. That show's so good, dude. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I got to get on that for sure.
And Alone came back on TV, so
Oh, sweet.
Alone's the best. It is the best survival show ever.
Yeah, I do have to stretch out my my TV show legs a little bit more. Was there anything? Was there like any favorite shot in the film that you had? I will say real quick, I did enjoy the little town, like what was that, like fundraising
The fair
carnival
thing?
cook off. Yeah, that was cool. And I have this weird thing about like night shots with warm lighting. They always look great to me. I like that stuff. Just just stylistically, I really like it.
If I had to pick, probably my favorite shot in the movie is when Mackenzie Davis's character gets introduced.
Oh yeah.
When she's inseminating the cow, dude. I love that. I loved how it was like so corny and romantic and disgusting at the same time.
Oh man.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Favorite shot
Ah.
in the movie.
Yeah, we're doing our best not to spoil things, but we could.
It's
I
great.
could talk on forever about
Go
things in this film.
definitely watch it. It is absolutely worth the money. It's a great movie.
For sure.
And it's nice to get like a little shot of Jon Stewart after so long.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
a shot of the genius. You know, back when The Daily Show was on, I never watched the news much, but I would always watch The Daily Show. And you'd always
Yeah.
get a little bit of some value. But his opening 11 minutes or whatever, his opening monologue that he would do every night was always fucking kick you in the nuts powerful, you know? And it's nice to get a little shot back from Jon Stewart. I've missed him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope he makes another awesome movie. And if it takes 5 years to do it, go for it. Yeah, whatever. If it's as good as this,
Yeah.
take the 5 years and do it right. If that's how it is.
No. He seems to be doing the Daniel Day-Lewis thing of make a film every 5 to 6 years. What about score? Did you notice anything with score in this film?
Did I notice it? Yes. And is it a bit on the nose? Yes. Did it bother me? No.
Okay, cool.
I'll put it that way. Because when you, if it didn't end the way that it ended, it might have bothered me quite a bit. Like this movie was strange, and like it was going in a direction where I was really gearing towards not having a good time.
Yeah.
But the way it gets brought around really saves everything. You know?
Well, that's the thing too. Like, it doesn't get pulled around until the very last second, which is great.
Yeah, but
And
I
that's what
will
catches
say
you off
I wasn't like from a resolution and like a satisfaction standpoint. If it had ended really poorly, like a happy ending per se,
Yeah.
I would have been very disappointed in the previous hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
However, the way it ends completely validates everything up until then, including the cheesiness of the score.
Yeah.
Because it all makes sense, you know? It all makes sense at the end.
Sure. I don't have any like real major gripes or concerns or any kind of comment on the score itself. I thought it complemented scenes well. And the score is not meant to stick out in a film like this. I don't think. It didn't stick out a whole bunch to me, which is fine. And I think we're going to be doing a film coming up that has some in-your-face score.
Okay,
So
is
I'd be
this
curious.
the listener request?
Yes, this is a listener request. And
We'll be putting
curious
that
to
out
see.
next week, hopefully. We're going to try and do 2 in 1 week.
Yeah.
We'll
So
see.
it's on the docket. But yeah, nothing like that. And for a film like this, that's not where the attention needs to be anyways. Like I said, I think overall cinematography, all of the tech stuff, and the artistic filmmaking come together, and they all support the story so well.
Yeah, which is just, fantastic bulletproof writing.
Right, and that's what you need. Yeah, like if you would have told me this was his second directed film, I would not have been able to tell.
Well, I don't know, though, because the man has been in show business for ever, for decades. And I don't know, he's just he knows everything too well to slip up on any one factor of the entire movie, you know?
And I'm sure it does help when you've written the script. So
yeah,
he's
and researched it. Watch till the end, people. Watch till the end of the credits.
There's post-credit stuff in this film.
Watch it.
That's worth watching.
Yes.
But yeah, even up to the very last post-credit scene, it all pays off. It's so well done.
Pays off very well, man. I hope this movie wins some awards, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it deserves some kind of recognition at least. Yeah, let's get into some love-hates, though.
All right,
let's start with you this time.
What I loved of the movie is the fucking payoff. It is like so satisfying and so rewarding at the end. That's what I loved about the movie. Hate about the movie, it did make me uncomfortable in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I had a feeling of where like it was going to go this really bad route of something like you mentioned. I don't know if I have the stomach for this shit right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I hated, but it pays off, so it's worth it. So don't let it freak you out. Don't turn it off.
No. I agree. I think what I love the most about the film is the way I was affected at the end of everything. I almost had like a physical reaction to the film. Like I felt ridiculous. And that is the point of the film, and it worked. And that's when I knew the film worked for me. And at the same time, I hate it for it because it really makes me feel sad. Yeah, it's like a little
fucking
too realistic.
real.
Yes. Yeah, you do kind of have to tighten your belt a little bit because this film gets really real with the kind of rhetoric that's being thrown around. Like
and either side that you're on, you're going to get uncomfortable.
On both.
Or if you're not on a side, like most people, I would say.
Yeah. And like you said, Toddo, in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I could stomach it because I've been trying to run away from all this shit forever. And I'm finally reached the point now where I feel like I'm succeeding at that. And this film kind of brought it all back in the beginning, but the payoff is so worth it.
Yeah.
And I feel way better for having spent some time with a film like this.
Yeah. It really brightened up my week. I'll say that.
Yeah, me too.
I had kind of a shitty traveling, commuting week for work, and watching this thing really like made me happy, but also at the same time kicks you in the nuts a little bit about the current situation. But it makes you laugh at it, and to be honest, that's the point, right? You're supposed to laugh at this shit because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think that's why this
fucking
film
point.
is watchable.
Yeah.
That's what makes this film watchable, is that it's not just all in your face, like, look at how stupid this all is.
And it's not divisive. It's not saying, are you on this side or are you on that side? And this
No.
side, it's not like that at all. It just shines a light on the whole game.
No, for sure. And, like, reading the synopsis of the film, I never would have thought this was a film that I needed. And
yeah, to be
after
honest, I
having
was like,
seen it-
oh, it's a political comedy. I was like, fuck, I don't know if I want to watch it, you know?
Yeah, I know. I was blown away by how much I think I needed the film like this.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah. Good timing.
Yeah, and I think once election season comes around, I'm going to be putting this film on a lot to make me feel a little bit better.
Or recommending it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we kind of got a little spoilery with our overalls, but what would you give this film? Actually, before you say that, what were you smoking during this film? Were you smoking anything?
I don't really know. I've just been smoking stuff. I don't know which jar it was.
Yeah.
I was half gone and half here all week, so I don't
Sweet.
even know, man, but it was good.
All right, cool.
It's either some Girl Scout crack, some Tangerine Dream, or some Gelato G. Maybe some Amnesia. One of them. Whatever jar is
All right.
on the table.
Hey, fair enough. So where does this movie fall on your scale?
So I've been thinking about this because there is a timely moment, you know. There's a context, there's a current, present history moment that this movie really hits hard on.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be giving these out all the time, but I'm giving it 5 bong loads, dude. It's
Okay.
really good. You can't poke a hole in anything in the entire
Yeah.
movie. And the acting was so good. The story is, and the resolution and how everything comes around is so good. And yeah, you just can't poke a hole in it. It's a 5. Jon Stewart's a master, dude, and I miss him.
Yeah, I'm on board with you. I have to preface this every time I give the score because I said it in a show, and you can go back and find it, and I don't remember what episode it was, but I said I reserve my 5s for films that get me to feel something
Yeah.
or move me in a certain way.
Yeah.
And this film does that, I think, more effectively than some of the films we've reviewed so far that I've given this score out to, but I am giving this 5 buckets of popcorn.
There's a
Like I
different
said,
there's like a different vibe about how it moves you, right?
yeah.
You can see a movie about history like Jojo Rabbit or 1917, and it can move you in an empathetic way.
Right.
And then this movie kind of hits you in a way where it's current and it's speaking directly to the moment in history that we're living through.
For sure.
And it hits you in a different way.
It definitely wakes you up and makes you think a little bit more critically about the political climate we live in. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I say after the film I felt kind of silly and ridiculous because it points all of that out. And yeah, it affected me in a way that I didn't know that I needed. And it was so great to watch it. And I mean, that's all I can say about it, really. It's a film that I didn't know I needed.
It should win awards.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. What's like a most timely? Is that a category?
Most timely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Academy is due for some new new categories. I don't know, but we'll see. They move like snails.
We're on a pretty, like, we've done some shitty movies recently, but there's a lot of really, really good movies that have come out since we started doing this old podcast. Or maybe it's just seeing more movies on my part, because I used to see like one or two a year
That helps a little bit.
before we started doing this. So, but this
yeah, they're
movie's
not all
great.
terrible.
This movie's great.
No, for sure.
It is completely worthy of the title of great.
Yeah, and I don't think we can stress this enough. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you fall on or identify with. Doesn't matter.
Even if you're not an American and you're sitting back watching, laughing, eating some popcorn, it's good for you too, because you can laugh harder.
You'll feel even better after that film. Thank God I don't live in America.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, everyone has something to learn from this film, and those are always the best ones. So yeah, I think it's safe to say we're highly recommending this film to you.
Absolutely worth the money. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's on demand everywhere. On iTunes, I think it was only available for rent. You might be able to find it for purchase somewhere else, but it's one of those straight to digital releases because of everything going on.
Yeah.
But it's totally worth the money to watch it, and it's worth your time.
We got some good stuff coming up. There's some good movies, or what look like good movies, coming out here soon.
Yeah, and we have a listener recommendation that we're going to bang out.
Yes.
And,
Double feature next week. We just committed to it.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, a lot more content coming your way. Yeah, that's been episode 28 of The Buff and the Blazer. As always, thanks again for sticking around, guys, and for hanging with us. But yeah, for me and El Toddo, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Have a good one, people.